What is up, guys? My name is Rami. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new, welcome. And today I want to talk about a little situation that happened to me back in September. Just to give you guys some information, things that if I would have known, you know, this probably would have been a little bit smoother and a little bit better for myself. There wasn't that many videos on YouTube or information that I got to kind of handle this type of situation. So I just want to talk to you guys about it real quick, and hopefully this doesn't happen to you, but if it does, you'll be a little bit more well prepared with the information that I give you. So first things first, I got into an accident in September 13, 2018, so this was last year, and I just finished the case 3 days ago. So what happened was, going to school, going to college, girl hit me from behind. She was the at-fault driver, and I had bought the car 46 days before she had hit me. So obviously I was a little upset, and it was our first week driving, but what can you do? You know, you can only control your car and you can't control other people. Things like that happen. You know, you just got to move on. So what happened was, obviously I had a clean Carfax, I had no accidents, I bought my car for a specific amount, and now that she hit my car, I have an accident on my record whether it was my fault or not. So with it being her fault, I still have an accident on my record, and that is what's called a diminished value. So I bought my car for a certain amount, we're gonna say $19,000, okay? So if I bought my car for $19,000, she hit my car, so now my amount of the car, and I'm just gonna give an example, is $14,000. So now my car is $5,000 lower than what I bought it for. So that's diminished value. And in some states, which is what I'm in, Florida, you can sue for, or you can ask for that diminished value. What I ended up doing was suing State Farm, which was her insurance, and her, because they didn't want to give me my diminished value and what I asked for. So let's backtrack a little bit on what the process was. So she hit me, I got my police report, I contacted her insurance, they fixed my car, took 10 days to fix, they gave me a rental, they were all good. State Farm was on top of everything, they gave me my rental free of charge, and they did all the repairs with the dealer that I wanted to go to, which was where I bought the car, and they let me choose where I got to go. So they paid all that, and we were all fine and dandy until I asked for my diminished value. So when I asked for diminished value, they initially told me there's no such thing, and you're gonna get all this bull crap back and forth on diminished value doesn't exist, this and that. Just do your research, which is what I did. There is such thing as diminished value in Florida, and I am entitled to it. So I filed for it, they denied it. They gave me a bogus, ridiculous number that was way less than what I asked. So I hired an appraiser. I went to DV Check, shout out to DV Check. They wrote me what I should be getting. They compared other cars that had accidents and that had no accidents, and they found out that diminished value. They wrote me a demand letter to send to State Farm, and then they asked me to get like another appraiser. So I went to CarMax, which they do appraisers on your car, and they gave me an amount for my diminished value. So what they gave me was $13,000 for my car. I bought my car around the $17,500 range. So that was significantly lower. So I sent that with the demand letter that DV Check gave me to State Farm, and they still gave me a low number. They gave me around $700, or that's what they were offering. I denied that, and I told them in 10 days if they didn't accept my offer that I initially wanted, that I'd have to take them small claims court, which is what I had to end up doing, and that was a long process. So I had to pay the claims court fee, which in Florida is $300 for 2,500 and over, which is what I was asking for. And then I had to get a summons to get sent out to them, which I had to get her mom because she's under her insurance, and herself, so it's like $10 each. and you can just go to your court clerk's office and find out the pricing for that. And if you do win the case, they have to pay for your small claims court and all that. So fast forward, we're into March now, and we went to small claims court, and they wanted to do like a continuance, so we had to fast forward that to April. So my claims court was April 18. It was on a Thursday, and I went into the courtroom. What they initially ask you is, you know, if they can settle this, you're gonna go into mediation. You know, they try to throw away these cases so the judge doesn't have to do 100 cases in a day. So if he can cut it down to half, you know, they want to mediate it and, you know, come to a settlement right then and there before you even have to go in front of the judge and settle it right then and there. So I was prepared, you know, to go in front of a judge. You know, I had all my like accident. These were the photos of the accident. That was one. It was all in the rear, obviously. That was two. This was the trunk. It was like kind of open. She smashed it in, so indented in a little bit. That was another one. That was the left side of the car. So you guys get the idea. I was prepared, you know, to go in front of the judge, and I had no clue that we were gonna go into mediation. I didn't know that, like, that part of that process. You don't have to settle. But in my case, I ended up settling just because of the risk of, and I went without an attorney because in small claims court you don't need one, but they hired one from State Farm. So with your insurance, you are subject to a representative from State Farm or whatever insurance, and they have to represent you. So she had an attorney there, and we were in the mediation, and they talked about, you know, what I was looking for. I told them the number I was looking for, plus court fees and court costs and all that. And, you know, I sat outside and they were inside, and the mediator kept going back and forth until we came to an agreement. I didn't get the exact number I was looking for, but I came close enough to where, you know, if you go in front of a judge, you can get zero and still have to pay your court fees. So when we came close to the number that I wanted, I just settled right then and there. And just a little tips for you guys. When you guys go in, just keep the reason why or in my case, State Farm, I feel like they gave me such a low number was because 90% of the time people don't take them to court. They think it's such a, like, they don't want to waste their time, and they're like, whatever. You know, they don't want to put in the time, and State Farm usually doesn't have to pay anything because nobody follows through. So in my head, I was thinking if I filed it, they would have came back and gave me the money, which they didn't do. But they ended up doing that all the way up to when we had the court date and we went to mediation. They were just a couple $100 off, which I can deal with that. If I hadn't settled, I would go in front of a judge and I would present my case. I would show them the pictures, and if the judge felt like, you know, I was awarded that specific amount that I was asking for that diminished value, he would have gave it to me, and they would have had to pay court costs. Now, if the attorney for State Farm did a case to where she was able to somehow say that none of this was, you know, accurate, and the number that I was asking for was nowhere near what I was supposed to be getting, I could get zero to way less than what I was asking for. But I don't think they would have settled if she thought that. I think it was pretty clear cut. So a couple tips for you guys: just be prepared. What I would do differently if I was able to do this again, and I hope I'd never have to, was one, talk to an attorney or a lawyer. Just some suggestions. You don't have to hire them to be in court with you, just to get some advice on, you know, the process. I didn't know about the mediation, so that could have been helpful in preparing to negotiate. Number two is make sure, you know, when you guys have all your paperwork, get a police report. In her case, she got a ticket for following too closely as well. So that, I know that helped me significantly. And make sure you guys keep copies of everything. Everything. It's so important to have a copy of, you know, all the documents and all the emails that go through and the repairs and everything. A third thing I wish I would have done, it didn't hurt me too much, but I can see why it would hurt me, is getting an appraiser to actually physically look at my car. So what happened is I hired DV Check. He's in South Carolina and I live in South Florida. So what they do is they just compare different vehicles with my vehicle. And then, so one of the arguments the attorney was saying was that they wanted to make sure, they wanted to see the repairs that were done, and they wanted to see, you know, he didn't really actually look at my car, so he didn't know how much the car was worth. But diminished value does not mean, you know, how much your car was damaged and how much it's worth after that. Diminished value just means that how much your car is worth after there's an accident on your record. So it had nothing to do with how much damage was done. It was just the matter of fact that she hit my car and now I have an accident on my record. So that's very important to know, because she was trying to say they wanted to get somebody to look at the car physically. Obviously they can't anymore because it's already been repaired right after the accident. And two, that doesn't mean diminished value, it just means my accident. You know, I have an accident. So she was trying to twist that around and kind of like a strategy she was trying to get to kind of scare me. But just do your homework. And I hope this never happens to you guys, and I hope I helped. If you guys have any questions, just leave it in the comments below. Subscribe to our channel. Hopefully I never have a video like this again. It's going to be a lot more, you know, fun and a lot of drifting, a lot of car meets, you know, a lot about our cars. If you guys know Justin as well, he has a Nissan 370Z Nismo. I drive a 9th gen Honda Civic Si. A lot of videos coming up, guys. Some of you guys were asking about the revs for my N1. That's coming up probably next week. And then we got a car meet that we just went to. It was Tuners Evolution. TJ Hunt was there. Dustin Williams was there. It was a cool event in Miami. So be sure to look out for that and show some love and keep it doozy. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.